Y'all know what it is. Real estate Q&A sessions week 41. Bringing you nothing but consistency each and every Thursday at 12 o'clock. Y'all rock with me. So, appreciate y'all for always popping up in here. Like always, every single week, you guys know what it is. It is the same thing. Yes. And what do we like most? What do we appreciate most out of life? We appreciate consistency. And as of this point right now, I'm probably the most consistent guy on IG Live every week at Thursday at 12 o'clock. I am probably the most consistent guy. So, bringing you guys nothing but straight value for 41 straight weeks. It has been nothing but a pleasure, and I appreciate the time I have here with you guys, as always, because you guys can be doing a whole bunch of other things outside of rocking with me, spending time watching my stuff, watching my show, going back looking at these episodes. Y'all can do a whole bunch of other things outside of staying here. But you guys continue to do so every single week, and that's nothing but love. So I'm always gonna shout you guys out. I'm always gonna appreciate that. Again, my whole motto in life at this point in time, one of the mottos is spread love. Gotta show love, because again, without love, it's a lot of hate. It's a lot of things going on in the world naturally. It's just a lot of stuff, right? And one thing that we need to do, I think, is people just love a little bit more. Appreciate people, appreciate life, that kind of stuff. So, before I get too deep into all of that kind of stuff, I want to bring it back in and get back to this real estate stuff, which is why you guys are here naturally every single week, every Thursday, 12 o'clock. Sometimes I start a little late, sometimes I don't. Doesn't matter. I still do it. I'm still here. And so bring you guys consistent value when it comes to real estate. Ask me anything, everything real estate related. That is the goal. That is the mission. That is every single week giving you guys access to what I do, my opinion, my words on specific topics in the real estate game. And again, guys, don't feel ashamed or anything like that to ask something that you feel like has been on your mind for the previous week. As I will do my best to answer. I always say this. I said I am not a guru. I just know more than the average Joe. And so with that being said, it's always going to be me attempting to give you the best value that I can give you each and every week, each and every time I hop on here, the best capacity I will can be. Now, what I won't do is give you guys advice that I have not experienced myself. And a lot of things I've experienced my damn self. So, but I'm still young in the game. Naturally, that's just what it is, right? You're not going to be what I call a guru or anybody, or just this high level person, unless you've been through a lot of personal, not personal, but unless you've been through some bumps and bruises in this game, right? It's just how it is, just how it goes. It's the real estate game. So again, at the end of the day, we have to also remember that real estate investing is also still investing, right? When you invest, you're anticipating that you're going to get positive returns or long-term returns. When you put something into something, right? You're investing your time, you're investing your money, right? And just because people say invest in real estate, invest in real estate, does not mean that when you invest in real estate that you're guaranteed to get returns or you're guaranteed to, be on the positive end of things. That is still an investment at the end of the day. There's a possibility of losing money. It's just like the stock market. Stock market moves quick, right? You win some, you lose some, win some, lose some, right? On a daily basis, a minute basis, a second basis, right? Real estate is kind of the same thing, except it's at a slower pace, right? You can actually lose money on the buy when you buy. And from there, it's a long train of problems or potential problems, right? You can gain on the buy, right? Everything starts with the buy, essentially, right? If you buy right, a lot of things that you do, you can actually, let me say it like this: the better. How do I word this? The better that you buy, this doesn't even sound right. The better that you buy, no. That's not how you say it. Okay, so if you're in a situation, the better that you buy, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. So the better that you, the way it's coming in my head, the better the better that you buy, the better situation you'll be in to mitigate potential risks down the road, or can possibly erase potential risk down the road if you buy right. The better the buy is, the better chance you have of having some cushion in there down the road when you do purchase a property, and let's say you rehab it and you trying to flip it. The better if you bought right, then you should have some cushion in there to take on a couple bumps and bruises, right? If you bought wrong and you're flipping a house, it's just gonna be a if you bought wrong, then it's just going to be a matter of time before, something happens on that track and you have a fine line that you can't really kind of beat around or have any issues, or you're going to be losing money, right? And so you lose a lot of cushion when you don't buy right. You lose a lot of, your margin of errors get really, really small, right? Or you bought so bad that you don't even have a margin of error. You're already in the negatives, right? So buying right is always going to be something that is going to set you up for greatness, right? And so buying right, guess what that means you got to do? When you buy right, you have to run your comps, you have to run your own numbers, you have to do your own inspections. You have to do all your due diligence on the front end just to ensure that, okay, if I'm buying this property, I don't start out by not buying right? And a lot of people mess this part up, and then they wonder why they're only getting $100 or $200 or $50 or no money when they rent out the property, or when they thought they were going to sell the property when they were going to flip it, and they only get back $10,000, $5,000. $15,000. Not saying that that's anything wrong with getting that kind of money on your rehabs. There's not, right? And if you come from not having anything, somebody give you $15,000 in a check, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what you should be aiming for, because the margins of error on a flip are vast, right? And you can have big swings in profit based on errors that happen in your rehab, right? So you can go from making $30K down to making $20K fairly quickly. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you have to understand. It all starts with the buy. If you bought right, you should have a lot of cushion. And I'll go into depth. After this. But sleep when I die. What's going on? Appreciate you. XOXO Kiva. How you living? Sleep When I Die says, have you ever bought a bad deal starting out? Yes, I did. I actually did. My first property, my second property was a bad deal. I still own it to this day because it's a bad deal. Well, it's not a bad deal, but it's not like a favorable deal. I screwed up, and I think I talked about this to you guys. Is one way that people buy wrong is when they buy off emotion, right? You never should buy off emotion, right? Buying off emotion can get you screwed up out here in these streets. So when I say buying off emotion, if you've been putting in offers, if you've been riding around trying to get it, rapping with an agent, putting in offers on these properties, whether it's, on the market or off the market, and you're just losing. Like right now in this environment, right now is a perfect environment to lose. It's a perfect environment to lose offers. I'm serious, because there's not a lot of inventory out here anywhere. So guess what? Where there used to be 20 properties on the market that popped up today, there's probably only 5, right? And so in that case, guess what? That means that everybody that's looking for houses right now, they're bidding on these 5 properties, going crazy. Prices getting driven up. So whereas you might offer back in the past, you might offer an offer that's over list, maybe 5, 10, okay, whatever the case may be. You offer an over list offer. Back in the G, which was only a couple months ago or half a year ago, or whatever, you was winning. You was usually winning that bid. Nowadays, Not happening, right? Because there's just an absorbent amount of people looking for housing right now, trying to buy housing right now with low interest rates, low financing options, and they're all looking at the same house that you're looking at, and they're all just overbidding like crazy. So it's a great market for guys like me. I have a flip that goes on the market tomorrow, and you think I'm not sitting here? I am. So, because I know that there's a abundance of buyers out there looking to buy properties. So, I say all that to say, when you buy emotionally, let's say you're losing out on bids, overpriced, you're overbidding on this, overbidding on that, and then you finally see another property that pops up, and you're like, oh shit, I've had enough of losing these bids. I'm gonna win this bid. I'm going to get my offer accepted. And you put in your best foot forward, but maybe you overextend that little step, right? And maybe you put in a little bit more than what you're supposed to, ultimately affecting your profits on the back end, which you don't even see right now, right? Because when you buy on the buy, it's almost like a train. And I told you guys this before. It's like a train. When you have a train that runs down the track, it pulls all the other cars, right? Everything goes smoothly, right? When that train goes, everything else goes. But let's say that train's moving, and that train hits a wall. Guess what happens to all the carts after that? They crash into the front. That's kind of like what happens when you buy wrong, right? If you buy wrong, everything else that comes after the buy is going to be affected, right? Same thing as if you buy right. If you buy right, that train going to run smoothly. Shit, it might even move faster. You know what I'm saying? So that is kind of like what it means when I say when you buy off emotion. It's very easy to get caught up into the I gotta win, not realizing that you have the chance or opportunity to actually overextend your offer and shoot yourself in the foot down the road. Whether it's through a refinance, whether it's through a sale, whatever the case may be. Right? So the real talk Dewberry, appreciate you popping up in here, brother. It's a pleasure. Sleep When I Die says, that's why I'm nervous. If I borrow hard money and run through it and don't finish the job, why wouldn't you finish the job? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Why wouldn't you finish the job? Right? And yes, you being nervous is not anything out of the ordinary from anybody else that started and has, used hard money and, has gotten to whatever point they're at now. Hell, I use hard money. Right? I started out using my first deal was FHA loan. But when I really started doing this stuff, hard money. I use hard money all the time. So you being nervous is something natural. It's just a part of the game, right? If you're not nervous about borrowing $100,000, then yeah, you might have some issues there. You have to understand the gravity of what you're doing, right? And that, hey, this is the game. You know what I'm saying? This is what comes with it. You have to take risk, and that's what essentially what I was talking about in the beginning of the show is real estate is still an investment, right? It's just like stocks. You put you put a penny into a stock. Guess what? That penny you're at risk of losing that penny. You know what I'm saying? No matter how small the decimal is, whatever the case may be, you are at risk of losing that. It's just like if you put $100 in a mutual funds or stocks or whatever, you have the ability to lose that. Same thing with real estate. Just because you're buying a house does not mean it's going to be you're going to win. But people still do that. People still invest pennies. People still invest $100, $10, thousands of dollars for the idea that they could win. Right? And it's the same thing with real estate, bro. So, yes, you're nervous, but understand that every single person, I kid you not, and as cliche as it's going to sound, every single person literally started the same exact way. And I'm still nervous to this day whenever I ask for, whenever I go and use hard money for a particular property, because I think the same thing. What if I don't finish? What if the guys... Yeah, tell him to calm down. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so if you're not nervous about using hard money, then I don't think you need to be using hard money, because you have to understand that, yes, it's an investment. There's repercussions if I don't pay this money back, but that is you in totality understanding the risk. And that is what you should be thinking. That's what you should be doing when you borrow money. If you're borrowing money and you're just you are not even worried about the risk, then you probably don't need to be borrowing money because you're probably not going to use it right. So I say you have the right mindset when you say you're nervous. Yes, be nervous. That means you're probably going to handle the money a lot better than somebody who don't give a damn, right? And so when you talk about and running through it and not finishing the job, it's just a matter of preparation, organization, and making sure you have people in the right places to help you out, right? Remember, everybody started at literally one point. I think my boy Neston Wisely, same thing. He's been doing his thing, and look, everybody started from somewhere. Literally everybody. So don't feel nervous, brother. Listen, hard money is bridge money. You know what I'm saying? Link you up with some folks that know what they're doing, and you should be okay, right? Everybody started at one point. Hell, I'm not even the greatest at rehabbing at this point, and I've been doing it for a while. But it takes time. You got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Neston Wise? What's good, King? Appreciate you popping up in here. Ukiba. Is that how you say Ukiba? Can I just say Ukiba? Or is it UK? That is the 3 represents the E. Okay, I think so. Ukiba. What's going on, brother? XOXO Kiva. Oh, y'all got almost the same name. How do you suggest getting started? Okay, before I answer that, appreciate y'all for popping up in here. You guys know what it is. Real estate Q&A sessions. Week 41, consistently bringing you guys, well, I hope I'm bringing you guys value, but I'm consistently lending myself to you guys every week for an hour, at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours, for the past 41 weeks. And we're going to get to 53. I think it's 53 weeks in a month. In a year. I went to public school. Anyway, y'all know what it is. Housekeeping, you guys already know. The only thing I ask you guys, screenshot this, post to your story, let folks know what we're doing, because there's value in bringing other people here that ask questions that you might not know to ask, because when they ask something you didn't think to ask, you're going to get an answer that you didn't even think about. And when you find yourself in that scenario, you will be like, oh, damn, I remember when somebody asked about this question and they went about it this way, or Rashaad said, boom, that's value, right? So that's the only thing I ask you guys. I show up here every week, 41 weeks straight. I like to pat myself on the back about that. But yeah, post it, screenshot me, post to your story, let folks know what you're doing. I don't want to be on your feed because you guys are sensitive about your feeds. Post me to your story. That's fine. I'm good. So back to it. Ukiva says, yeah, bro. Okay, Ukiva. I'm going to say Ukiva. XOXO Kiva says, how do you suggest getting started? Are you saying getting started in real estate? That's a very broad statement or question. Elaborate. Get started in using hard money. Get started in buying rentals. Give me some specifics. Give me something to work with. Guys, also, feel free to ask any question you want to. For the folks that's been here, you guys already know. You guys can ask me anything, everything real estate related. I'll do my best to answer it in the best capacity I can. I'm not a guru. I just know more than the average Joe. And if you do feel the need to ask any questions, if I start rambling about another topic, don't have to wait until I stop talking about that topic to ask me a question. You can ask your question right there in the comment section below, right there, and or right there where the question mark thing is. You can ask your questions in either one of those spots. I will shout you out, and I will basically answer the question in the best way I can. So, appreciate you, Kylie King, popping up in here. Yeah, I see you. I see everybody that pops up in here. And that's another thing. I like to show y'all love because y'all don't have to be here. Y'all don't have to be here. All right? I'm always going to shout y'all out. That's just, it's where it is, right? If you're coming from Clubhouse, yes, this is what we do every Thursday, 12 o'clock. I have not been on Clubhouse a lot lately just because there's no real because. I just haven't been on Clubhouse a lot lately. I just haven't felt like talking on Clubhouse, to be honest. But also I had some things going on as well, personal and business-wise, that I had to make sure I took care of. And also for the simple fact that I have a rehab that's hitting the market tomorrow, and I had to make sure that got complete. And if you guys have been watching this show, you guys remember that I had to fire my whole crew. About 2 weeks ago. I had to fire my whole crew 2 weeks ago. I was about halfway through that rehab. 2 weeks later, I'm finishing up tomorrow. So yeah, I had to get off the grid. I had to leave because I had to make sure that I took care of that and made sure that I got people in places to, keep my business running. Because yes, I can sit here and talk about this stuff all day, every day. you know what I'm saying, and be in y'all faces, but like I actually still have to run a business. So that is what I had to take care of. Luckily, like I said, the house hits the market tomorrow. If you guys follow my story, I haven't posted any pictures about it yet, but it's a nice rehab. It's going to be really nice. So I'm hoping that when we list tomorrow, that we're going to have a buyer before the end of the weekend. Of course, I'm going to negotiate up and try to get as much money as I can. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's going to happen. And that speaks to everything that I was talking about earlier about the market being extremely hot right now and the lack of inventory. I know I'm going to have multiple offers. You can damn near throw anything on the market right now and people are going to bite at it. Now, as long as it doesn't look like some crap or whatever, and you got it priced right, people are going to, it's going to sell, right? Because there's not a lot of inventory, right? And so that's why today, hey, I'm like, hey, look, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna wrap up the rehab today. No, they're staging today. I'll have my pictures tomorrow. We're gonna list it tomorrow midday or something like that. So yeah, Kylie King, what's going on? Appreciate you popping up in here. Kaliche, what's going on, brother? Nesting Wisely says, what's a good way to get started in no money down real estate wholesaling for the audience? All right. I'm going to answer that question, and I think that's also a good question that segues into what XOXO Kiva actually asked, which is how to get started in real estate like investing. So I guess we can kind of do the same thing. So what's a good way to get started in no money down real estate, basically wholesaling for the audience? If you guys didn't know, your legs can be your best friend. Your car can be your best friend. If you want to get started in wholesaling is basically where you're moving one contract for a house and you're taking it from one hand and you're putting it into another hand. So I'll give you another example. If you're selling your house, and this is wholesaling and just in general, so anybody that doesn't know what wholesaling is, we'll refresh them a little bit. But if you don't know what wholesaling is, basically it's this, right? If you the person watching it, you right there. If you have a house and you want to sell it for $100,000, and I come up and say, hey, I want to buy this house for $100,000. We strike up a contract and we say, look, I'm going to buy the house for $100,000. I take that contract that says I'm going to buy that house for $100,000, and I go take it to your best friend who's also looking to buy a house, and I go take it to them, and I say, hey, well, not your best friend, but let's say somebody you know. I say, hey, I have this house for $110,000. Are you willing to buy it? And let's say they say, yes, I'm willing to buy it. So then, now you have a contract with that person for that house for $110,000, right? Now you go to closing. The person that sold the house to me, you get $100,000. The person that I just sold that contract to for $110,000, they buy the house, they get the house. They sold it to me for $110,000, and I get the remaining balance, which is $10,000, right? So I just moved, I moved the contract from one hand, and I put it in another hand. That was it, and I upsold somebody. So it's just like moving a pack. I don't know if y'all been out here in the streets. Hey, you pick up something for $100, you go sell it for $150, whatever the case may be, y'all know what it is, right? So that's what wholesaling is, except it's with real estate. And there's ways to get involved in the game. We've talked about off-market marketing and on-market marketing. On-market is where properties are sold on market. Off-market is where properties are sold direct to seller, right? From me talking direct to a seller, and I might sell it to an investor or you or whoever. Off-market. So whenever I'm going to do that, you have to market to people. You have to market to people to let them know that you are a wholesaler or you are an investor looking to buy houses, right? There's ways to do this that are expensive. There's ways to do this that are free. If you want to get into wholesaling for free, little to no money down right now, the best thing you can do is one thing, you can go drive for dollars, right? And sometimes you don't even have to go drive for dollars. You can recruit somebody to, drive for dollars. But we're talking about free stuff, right? So if you want to talk about free, go hop in your car and go drive around a neighborhood. Go pick 3 neighborhoods in your city, right, where you see a lot of activity going on. Maybe you've driven around the area and you hear a lot of hammers and drills going and stuff like that. You see a lot of activity, real estate activity and stuff going on, right? Drive around those areas for a couple hours a day or for a couple weeks, and you go and look at houses that have mail busting out the mailboxes. You have, overgrown grass, it looks dilapidated, it looks ugly. Write all those addresses down. Write all these addresses down, right? We're talking no money and maybe like $10 or a couple bucks, right? But you go write all those addresses down. You go and get those addresses skip traced, or you can go look up the tax records for each one of those houses because you have the address. Go to your city website and go look up the tax records for each one of those houses. On those tax records, it's going to show the owner and it's going to show their address. The owner and their address. Now, key thing, it's going to show 2 addresses on that tax record, right? Pay attention to this. It's going to show 2 addresses on that tax record. It's going to show the address in which you input as the premises property, and then it's going to show the mailing address for that owner, right? The mailing address, if the mailing address of that owner is different from the premises property, the property that you entered for the tax record information, if it's different, then that means that owner is what we call an absentee owner, right? That means they have a primary residence and then they own separate property, right? So they're an absentee owner. Their mailing address is where you want to send what I'm about to tell you to do. You don't want to send it to to the premises address. You're going to take that mailing address, you're going to draft up you're going to go get a piece of paper, right? And you're going to go write a letter and say, hey, my name is Luke. What's going on, Luke? How you doing, man? Appreciate you popping up in here. But my name's Luke, and I was walking around your neighborhood, and I'm looking to buy another house out here, and I would like to buy your house, or I would like to know if you're interested in selling, or I would like to know if you'd like to know if you want to know the market value for your property or anything like that, right? Basic, just basic as heck, right? You put that in, you write that in a little mail, in a little, piece of paper, put it in an envelope. You're going to mail that piece of mail to the mailing address of that owner of that house, not the premises property. Remember, there's 2 addresses, right? You have the owner, you have the premises property, the address that you wrote down, and you have the mailing address. You're going to send it to the mailing address, because if you send it to the premises property, obviously they don't live there, and all that mail that you saw stacked out in front of that mailbox is all mail that nobody has picked up in ages. So guess where your mail is going to go if you mail it there? It's going to end up there. So you're going to mail it to the mailing address. You take that letter, you mail it to the mailing address. That might cost you 15 cents, right? If you already got stamps, boom, you just sent out a letter to a off-market seller or off-market lead in the attempts of you wanting to get them to call you so you can strike up a deal with them to ultimately wholesale their house. That is free marketing. Well, not free in a sense. You have time and a little bit of postage money. But you can do that, take that same concept and scale it. Maybe you go find 100 properties in a week, right? And maybe you're sending out 100 letters, right? And you're putting you're putting a phone number down there in that letter. At the end, on the bottom, you're putting a phone number where they can contact you. Now, that phone number doesn't need to be your name. You can go to a website called CallRail, and it costs you, $20 to have 10 numbers, tracking numbers. Again, we're talking free. So if you want to put your personal cell phone number on there, that's fine. I wouldn't advise it. But you can do that if you're really talking about bootstrapping, raw dogging it, right? Put your personal phone number down there, and let's say you mail out 100 of these letters throughout the week, right? It might have cost you $10 altogether, right? I know he's talking about free. But it might have cost you a couple bucks to mail all that stuff out, right? Because you already had stamps, you already had envelopes, right? And you just mail. The cost of mail, actually, no, not even the cost of mail. You just drop that in the mailbox. It might not cost you anything. Yeah, I forgot. I keep thinking of express mail and stuff like that, certified mail. But anyway, that is essentially how you mail or market for free in a market where you're looking to wholesale. Right? So if you send out 100 pieces of mail that you hand wrote and that deals that you found that are in between these streets, anywhere, everywhere, right? Dilapidated, rundown homes, right? These are deals that other people aren't riding around and bidding on because they're not on the market, unless another investor rolled by that house is pretty much off everybody else's radar. So you're already picking deals that have less competition, right? And so if you're mailing out 100 pieces of mail, and your phone number's on there, you're trying to wait for somebody to call you back because they have this dilapidated house, and here's somebody saying they want to buy it. Got to think. You got to run the numbers. 100 pieces of mail come out. You're not going to get everybody to call you back. It's just naturally the game, right? But you might get 20 people to call you back, right? And out of those 20 people, most of them are like, hey, don't mail to me again. Why are you contacting me? But you might have 10 of those that might be like, yeah, I might be interested in selling. Here's, what my situation is. And out of those 10, you might only be able, once you've sifted through XYZ, out of those 10, you might only be able to go on 5 appointments, right? 5 appointments where you go and actually meet with that seller, go to their house, you know what I'm saying, and meet them there, chop it up, look at the house, make sure everything's copacetic, whoop-de-whoop, yada yada, right? And out of those 5 appointments, you might only be able to convert 1 lead where you actually convince or put somebody in a position where you could help them by getting that contract and getting this house wholesale. And so let's say you put that house on a contract for $100,000, right? Now, we know you don't have $100,000, but there's semantics and nuances and things like that we talked about in depth and on how to go about that, right? But let's say you put this person's house under contract for $100,000. You didn't spend any money for real to do this. You got all this far. You got a contract for a house for $100,000. You go take that same contract and you go on your Facebook page. You go on meetup.com. You go on, it's a bunch of different places, right? And you take that same house and you say, look, hey guys, I have this house. Hey, I'm calling all investors. I have this house that I am looking to sell for $110,000. And you put your little pictures up there. You put your little description. You try to make it sound nice. You know what I'm saying? And let's say you find somebody that wants to buy that house for $110,000. You put that on a contract with them. When you close, they get the house for $110,000, right? The guy who wanted to sell it, he gets $100,000. And what do you get? You get $10,000. And you didn't spend any money. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know any of y'all in here that's millionaires. Some of y'all might be millionaires. I don't know. I'm not going to count y'all pockets. But I would like to believe that everybody could use $10,000. Can I get a thumbs up for everybody in the audience right now? If you can use $10,000, put your thumbs up. Just do that, right? I'm gonna do it for y'all because I could use $10,000. Where the thumb at? Where the heck is the dang thumb at? Snap. See y'all can tell I don't use my phone a lot. Where? Oh, there it is. There it is. Boom. If you can use $10,000, put your thumbs up. I mean, look, if you don't need $10,000, that's fine. I know how many people up in this chat. I know how many people up in here. You don't need $10,000 or could use $10,000 for free, or you didn't have to put in no money, just a little time. Hey, you got it made. I need to be like you. You know what I'm saying? But essentially, that's what I'm talking about, right? So if you want to wholesale, you want to talk about not having the biggest budget ever or not having any money to do anything, that is what you can do, right? And if you don't have a car, it's nothing to, well, if you don't have a car, then, bike, you can take a bike and ride around a couple neighborhoods a week, you know what I'm saying? But maybe you're doing it at a smaller scale, but it can be done, right? And that is a way where people are able to wholesale basically without putting any money down, right? There's a couple other low cost ways of doing these things, right? And so let's say let's say you did do your first deal, you made $10,000, right? You made $10,000 off your first deal and you didn't put any money into finding this deal and wholesaling it. What do you do with this $10,000? You want to talk about scale? You take that same $10,000, maybe you pay yourself, right? Maybe you pay yourself 10%, put $1,000 in your pocket. Maybe you take another, I don't know, 1,000, maybe pay up some bills. But that remaining money, or a good chunk of that money, should go back into marketing. So now instead of you bootstrapping and marketing for free, where you're riding around doing driving for dollars for free, keep doing that. Scale what you're doing, but now you put money into actually marketing to where instead of you just doing mail, maybe now you want to call these people, right? And so when you look at those tax records, remember I showed you, all you need is an address in order to send people mail, right? You can send people mail all day, every day. Once you get, all you need is an address. You need an address and a name. That's going to pop up on the tax record, right? You can mail for basically free with the exception of stamps and envelopes, right? But let's say you wanted to actually start calling them directly because it takes a lot of time to get word back from mail, right? You take that same money that you just you just got from that one bid, dump it back into marketing. So instead of you also mailing leads, you take that same information, the tax record, right? The name, the address, and now you skip trace, right? You skip trace because you want to call them directly just to get an answer, right? You want to cold call. This is basically what it's called, cold calling, right? And so when you're doing this, you have to get this. You have to skip trace it because on the tax record, the only thing that's going to pop up is all the property information, the owner's first name, last name, and their mailing address. You can mail them, but you want to call them. How do you call them? You got to take that same information and you got to send it to a skip tracer. You got to get a skip trace. That costs money. It usually costs like $25, $20. I mean, not 25. 25 cents, 20 cents, 15 cents, 10 cents a lead, right? And so if you send, let's say you want to skip trace a list of 100 properties that you went and found throughout the week when you was driving for dollars for free, right? Let's say it costs 25 cents a lead. I don't know what that is, but you guys know that it might be a couple bucks, $20 or something. I don't know, right? I'm not good at math. You got your list skip trace. Now you have a list of, and when you skip trace basically means that you're submitting information about a property or a person to like a data aggregator. And that person is going to pull all, basically it's kind of real stalkerish. But basically this person is, or this company or this service is going to provide you all the information for this person, right? Mortgage information, relative information, phone numbers. That's the most important thing. You want phone numbers. That's what they're going to give you. You want their phone number. So I'm not going to go into all the details, right? So you get your phone number. And every time you skip trace a list, let's say it's a list of 100, you're not going to get all 100 numbers back. You might get 60%, 70% back, depending on who's skip tracing, right? So now you have a list of about 70 leads that all have phone numbers. You have their mailing address and you have their phone numbers. What can you do now? You can double up, right? So you can not only mail them, but you can call them directly and say, hey, so-and-so and so, I was in your area and I wanted to know if you'd be interested in, hearing what your house is, market value. Get them to call you, whoop-de-whoop. Next thing you know, you're now getting information, a yes or no, about whether they're willing to sell their house or not before, way quicker than you would have if you had mailed them. Because sometimes when you mail people, not even sometimes, a lot of times, when you mail, you have to be able to mail consistently. Because when I mail you the first time, you might not be in a position where you want to sell. You might not be in a need. You might not be in a need. You might not be in a position where you need to sell, or you might not be in a position where I said I wanted to sell this year, but I don't want to sell this month. I wanted to sell in the fall, right? And so you have to mail consistently. Whereas when you hop on the phone, you can kind of get an answer, yes or no, right? And if it's a yes, then boom, there you go. Same scenario. If it's a no, there's a difference between I'm interested, but not right now, and then there's no. If it's a no, you click, you hang up, you keep moving. You're gonna get a lot of no's before you get yeses. But all it takes is that one yes. Remember the numbers that I spoke to you guys about when you did it for free. All it takes, if you mail out 100 letters, all it takes is you to convert one for $10,000. One. So always keep that in mind. I know I kind of went a little bit further into how this whole ordeal goes when it comes to marketing for free and wholesaling for free using free resources. But that's kind of like how you level up, right? That's how people really start from the bottom. And there's people that have made very profitable businesses and made themselves quite wealthy, starting just from that standpoint, right? For free, right? But you have to go out there and you have to go out there and want. You know what I'm saying? You have to go out there and get it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're wholesaling, there's a lot of other competition. So I'm glad. Who was that asked that question? Nesting Wisely. I'm glad he asked that question, and I think that was an alley-oop. But I appreciate you asking that question. For anybody that's new to wholesaling or wants to get into wholesaling, that was basically a walkthrough on how to get into wholesaling for free, right? And that's, like I said, everybody saw your hands. I think everybody could use $10,000, and that's your potential or more, right? People make $50,000 assignment fees, and it changes their lives, right? And it's literally all from wholesaling, right? Or doing things in a manner that can fit your budget with a lot of effort. You could essentially have the same, the same outcome. It could happen. I've wholesale deals, right? I've made some money, right? I'm not a big wholesaler because I'm more interested in buying holds, but I've wholesaled before. I still wholesale. So thank you for asking that question. Beautiful Libra 925. Appreciate you popping up in here. Luke, I think I already shouted you out. Made it Haiti. What's going on? Brent, steady clocking. What's going on, brother? Still waiting for you too. What's going on? Appreciate you for popping up in here. Action Jackson, Maurice, what's going on? It's been a while. Brittany Claybrooks, hey, hope you're doing well in the political world. Compensate.her, what's going on? Appreciate. Is that Tati? I think that's Tati. What's going on, Tati? I didn't know you was popping up in here. But yeah, so listen, guys, that is free game. It is your choice of whether you want to do it or not, utilize it or not. Up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do what I can, while I can, if I can. But that is how you can get into wholesaling for essentially no money down. That's what the topic was. And again, it's a matter of choice. You do not have to do a million YouTube videos, sign up for this, sign up for that, take people's courses and all that kind of stuff. You do not have to do all that. You can if you want. But you're going to find out you're doing more research than action. More research than action. Ain't nothing wrong with researching. Hey, I'm not sitting here saying that you shouldn't be doing your due diligence. Do your due diligence. But one day, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, damn, I still ain't did a deal. Yeah, I just gave somebody else $10,000 to coach me and I still ain't did a deal. Woo! That happens. I just paid for my third course and I still haven't done a deal. Why are you still paying for courses? Go out and try to do a deal, right? Don't worry about not having no buyers list. Don't worry about not, knowing how to do. Man, just go out there and do it. Screw up. I told somebody this earlier today. Life is long. It's short, but it's long too. Go screw up. Go fuck some shit up. Y'all know I don't curse on here. I try not to. But go screw some stuff up. I just told you how to wholesale, and there wasn't any liability in there. What do you got to lose? Oh, I don't have $100,000 to give. Okay, well, there's ways that you can put that in a contract to show that, guess what? You're not really purchasing the property. If I can do it, and a million of people on YouTube that have wholesaled before have done it when they didn't have the money, then guess what? You can do that too. Just trying to show y'all how to make some bread out here in these streets. Not saying it's going to be easy. But what I am saying is that you guys can do it. If you're coming in here every week or every other week, or you're only watching these things when you get off work or whatever the case may be, because a lot of people watch these. There's not a lot of people that pop up or are available at 12 o'clock because y'all got to work and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that watch these after they've been posted, because I post every single one of these on my story. If y'all are watching these things, I appreciate you. I'm always going to appreciate you. I'm always going to love y'all for that, right? Always. But if you're just watching and you're not going out there and doing anything, that's not what I want. Right? I tell you guys all the time, every single week. The only thing I want is you guys to screenshot this, post to your story, let folks know what we're doing. But the other side of me also wants y'all to actually go out there and do something. And what I should do is bring back these challenges that I had set up, I think it was a couple months ago. Y'all want something from me or whatever the case may be, and not even that. Y'all come in here and tell me what y'all did the previous week that's elevating you to the next level. That's what I want to see. I want to see what, for the 41 weeks that I've been doing this. The 41 weeks. The one thing I want to know is who actually came on here, took this information, and did something with it. That's what I care about. I don't care if it's one person on here watching right now. Now it's two people. I don't care about that. I don't care if y'all fuck. I don't care about none of that shit. I know I'm getting deep up in this because I feel really about this. If y'all been coming here for 41 weeks or y'all been showing up, showing out, watching my stuff for 41 weeks straight, I appreciate that. But what I really want to know is who took all this information and did something with it. What tangibly can you show that you did? Tangibly that you show. Well, I know what I'm trying to say. I messed up. I was on a roll. But you know what I'm talking about. That's what I want to know. Who out there, who went and did a deal? Who went and bought a house? Right? Who did a wholesale deal? Who hired a new contractor? Who, fired a contractor because Rashaad told me that, XYZ is not the way you should be doing. That's what I want to know, what y'all have done with this information. Right? And maybe that's something we disclose on the final week. Not the final week, because I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. But maybe we do that on the last week of the year. Or when I hit my year mark. Who did something with this information? I want to know. It's okay to come in here and pop up and, whoop-de-whoop with me. But I'm also about that action. That's just me. So, yes, guys, if you haven't done so already, yeah, my bad. I kind of went off on a tangent. But that's how passionately I feel about doing this live thing every single week. I'm literally dedicating all my time to you guys for at least an hour, right? A week. The only thing I want to see is some results. Who's going to hold you accountable? Who's going to tell you that, hey, what you're doing, you're sitting on your ass not doing anything. You're watching a lot of videos. You think you're learning stuff. You're just soaking in information that is just information. It's not useful until you go out and try to use it. Now, there's people in different circumstances that are in time that are planning to deploy all this information at a specific time period. I understand that because everybody's life ain't perfect, and everybody's timing isn't my timing or anybody else's timing. I understand that. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that utilize this information. That's all I'm trying to say. So, other than that, you guys already know housekeeping rules. What do I say each and every week? Screenshot this, post to your story, let folks know what we're doing. We are on week 41. Week 41, doing this every Thursday, 12 o'clock, real estate Q&A session. I'm also on Clubhouse as well. Whew. I'm also on Clubhouse as well. I can't remember my name on Clubhouse. I think it's at @Shad_invest with an S. I run a rather large real estate club on Clubhouse. I think I got about almost 20,000 followers on there. But yeah, I'm actually hosting a room tonight about the Section 8 process. Now, this is a room that, yes, I'm hosting, but I don't know anything about, well, I know some things about Section 8, but I actually have not rented out to a Section 8 tenant yet. So this is going to be a room that I moderate, that the speaker who else is going to be on stage with me, maybe a couple other folks, I'm going to be right there with y'all taking notes. Because I don't know everything. I tell y'all this every day. I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. Well, I would like to know everything, but I don't want to know everything. I don't want to be an expert. I like where I'm at. So, tonight at 6 o'clock, if you guys don't have anything to do, pop up on Clubhouse. I am tired. Whew. Side note, I've been waking up early every morning, just something that I've been trying to get into. I've been waking up early. You guys can see I'm a little draggy right there. But I've been waking up early, right? I'm not going to tell y'all what time. Just know I've been waking up early for like the past 2 weeks. By the time it hits 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I am sleepy. And I've been, this is with me going to bed at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock, sometimes 1:30. Because I can't help it. But when I wake up, I be like, okay, first 10 minutes, it hurts. And then I get up and I start getting into what I'm doing. But I'm telling you, by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm yawning like this. On that note, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge you guys, whoever watches throughout the week after I post this, I'm going to challenge you guys. Next week, I want to hear some results. What the hell are y'all doing with this knowledge that I'm giving you guys, or this game? You know what I'm saying? What are you guys doing, outside of watching videos and watching gas bags like myself run our mouths about real estate? What are you guys doing? All right? Are you planning? Are you taking action? Are you connected with this person? What are you doing? Right? I want to know. So pop up in here next week and let me know. Today is Thursday. I'm very excited because tomorrow I get to pick up. So yes, tomorrow I am listing one of my rehabs. I'm excited about that. I think we're gonna get a good sale throughout the week. I think we're gonna find a buyer about it before the end of the weekend. It's gonna be crazy. Pay attention to my story. I'll post what it looks like. It should be. It's getting staged today. So we're doing the finishing touches and all that kind of stuff. So it is exciting to know that I will be listing another property tomorrow, which is one of my rehabs. Yes, I'm out here in these streets. Don't ever think for a second that I'll be up here talking and I'm not really out here. Don't think for a second. So anyway, on that note, guys, screenshot this, post to your story, let folks know what we're doing each and every week. Every Thursday, 12 o'clock, this is real estate Q&A sessions. Each and every week, 41 weeks straight. Next week makes 42. Our goal is to hit the 53-week mark, 1 year mark, and that's what the heck we're going to do, God willing, unless something happens, right? So, again, outside of that, I have to take my dog to the kennel. Titan needs to go to the kennel because his hips are not operating right. He cannot go up the stairs and down the stairs like he used to for some reason. I don't know. It just happened out of nowhere. So I need to take my boy to the kennel, basically the doctor. So other than that, I see you popped up in here, XOK, at the last minute. We start at 12 every week. Oh, good. Don't worry about it. Thank you for popping up in here, even if it's for the last 5 minutes. But other than that, guys, hey, peace, love, happiness. Remember, this weekend is Valentine's Day. Show love, right? Spread love, but not just spread love to your significant other. The world needs a lot more love. The world needs love, right? All this bad news. Listen, love. That's how we get over all this crap. So, other than that, appreciate you guys popping up in here. I gotta go. Peace.